He literally, it's disgusting. Are
We
you
are here to
ready?
educate.
Are you ready?
Tell us.
He literally
Bring what?
Talk about it with Angel Shanice.
Talk About It is back. Yet another week, another episode, another topic, and better content for you. It's always a pleasure to have you guys watching us. Such an honor. Thank you so much for subscribing. And for those of you who haven't subscribed, please click on the subscribe button. Make sure to watch this episode to the end because I promise you, today it's amazing and you will love it. Always an honor to have you guys here with us. So today's episode, I am so honored to have this guest because sometimes when I think about the guests I have on the show, myself as Angel Chinese, I am overwhelmed. I'm excited because I get to have conversations about things out there, sometimes shy from talking about things that people feel like they should be shelved. Yet there are things we should talk about boldly, there are things we should share because I know it's an inspiration to someone. There's someone who's out there and they're wondering, am I able really to navigate through life? So if that's you, stay through to the end of the show because today's episode is amazing. And on today's episode, I have an amazing guest. So beautiful. Mrembo kweli kweli. Look at her.
You're making me
Karibu
blush.
sana.
Thank you so much
It's just
for
but the
having
truth.
me.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. I was so honored when you actually reached out to me because you're the first person who's interviewing me after the turnaround.
Yeah.
So trust me, this is something for me.
Oh, thank you so much. Because right here on Talk About It, we want to bring inspiration to people. And Shiko, looking at you, your journey, I was just like, no, someone has to listen to this. Someone needs to get inspired because they may not have been through what you've been through, but they're going through something else, and this will be something that will inspire them.
Definitely.
So maybe before we dive in, because I know when we start, we shall get deep into it.
Yes.
Who is Shiko to begin with?
You know, the last time I was asked that question, it was a work interview, a job interview. So, you know, the way you literally tailor your answers to the question you ask. So it's definitely different right now.
Of course.
My name is Shiku Njoroge. For those who don't know me, now you know me. I am a chronic illness warrior. I live with fibromyalgia, endometriosis, colitis, chronic colitis. I live with lumbago sciatica, and I live with bipolar disorder. Yes, that's who I am. But it does not define the person that I am. I am a sales manager, IT sales guru. That's my career, and content creation a bit. I also have a podcast where I just interview people who are going through the same chronic illnesses, because you know there's so many people going through it and they're not able to talk, they're not vocal about it.
That's
so
true.
At least encouraging them through other stories is my path. Yes.
Wow, Shiko, you know, when you say the chronic illnesses that you live with, and when someone looks at you, honestly, Shiko, for a minute, it's just interesting enough. Shiko and I met on social media, and for some reason, we just clicked. It was just comments, and we just started conversing a bit. And when I followed through your stories and your journey, because I've also watched your YouTube channel.
Thank you.
I was like, what? Because when I look at you and what you've been through, you're strong. Shiko, you're so strong. It amazes me.
Thank you.
So I just want to know, Shiko, what is it like living with these chronic illnesses?
Living with chronic illnesses means losing friends, means people not believing in you, means you losing your job, means you getting into depression and wanting to kill yourself. It means not wanting to wake up the next day because it's the same thing over and over again, it means you're not able to have a social life like you used to, because you may be chilling and you get pain, and you don't want to make people get, that discomfort of, I mbona amekuja, you don't want that. So you end up just staying in the house. It's such a deep and low path to be in. But if you understand what you're going through, your life will be different, because you'll not let it define you. But if you give it power, it will define you. Literally, you'll pull away from people, you'll start saying things that are unnecessary and negative towards yourself. And that shouldn't be the case. Yeah.
So Shiko, some of these illnesses, many people don't really understand what they are. Like sometimes you'll just say, I'm dealing with bipolar, I'm dealing with endometriosis, I'm dealing with whatever else. Not many people actually understand what it is. So maybe just enlighten someone out there.
Okay, so which one do we start with? Start with endometriosis. Endometriosis is when, you see, when your periods come, that utero, that one, that wall that sheds off, it grows in different parts of the body. It could grow in your lungs, could grow in your brain, could grow in your tooth, could grow in your eye, could grow in your intestines, any other parts of your body. And because of that, it causes so much pain that you cannot walk, pain that you have to be injected morphine types, opioids types of painkillers for it to at least reduce, not to stop, to reduce,
to manage it.
Yes, it is so painful. I don't even want to think about it. It's so painful. Thank God, I, like myself, my periods were stopped, so I don't receive periods. Yes, because I could not manage to go through that pain.
Yeah,
that's endometriosis. Number one. Lumbago sciatica is having a problem with the spine. So your spine, your discs in your spine either change the posture, or your spine has an injury. So it's called lumbago sciatica. Sciatica is a nerve in the spine, and the different parts of the body as well. There's what else? There's fibromyalgia. Fibromyalgia is having so many conditions that even when you go to hospital, when they diagnose you, there's nothing, anything. So it's a miss. There's always a problem with you having chronic pain, you have chronic fatigue, you're losing your memory,
but they can't point out something.
Yes, that's what fibromyalgia is. And it is not diagnosed by anyone. It's diagnosed by a neurologist. And not many neurologists in Kenya. They do know about fibromyalgia, but they don't know how to tell if it is the one or not. So they're very limited doctors here in Kenya.
So either way, it's a diagnosis that is almost close to impossible to figure it out.
Exactly.
Okay.
So basically what they do is just manage the symptoms. There's no medication for fibromyalgia. It's when you feel low, when you're having depression that's linked to fibromyalgia, they give you anti-depression, depressants. When you feel this way, they give you this. When you have pain, they give you painkillers, such of the sorts.
Okay, sure.
Yes.
And we also have the bit of bipolar.
Yes, there's bipolar. Bipolar is having two personalities in one. So I could be very happy right now. So that's my manic. And another moment, I'm huko chini, depression. Yes, so it's having two in one, two mental disorders in one. Yes, and then there's also colitis. Chronic colitis is having wounds in your colon, whereby when you go for a long call, sorry, it's disgusting, but it is the truth. When you go for a long call, most of the time, even if it's as soft as what, there's blood in it. That means your colon has wounds and they're bleeding. And if it's not diagnosed as soon as possible, it causes cancer. So the earlier the better. If you ever see that, rush to the hospital. It could either be hemorrhoids or chronic colitis.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm in silence because, Shiko, when someone, sometimes we look at people and they tell you, I'm going through something. And for you, you're like, what do you mean? You look so okay. Because, Shiko, when someone is looking at you, they're like, I could almost give a clean bill of health for you, you look perfectly fine. So, Shiko, are these conditions that you were born with that came along the way, or at what point did you discover this is something that you have, or illnesses that you're actually living with?
So I was not born with either of those conditions. What I was actually born with was asthma, and I outgrew it. So I don't have asthma anymore. I would say I'm negative
Clean.
on that. Yes.
Okay.
But the rest, I was first diagnosed with bipolar in 2017. That's after numerous misdiagnoses ever since 2009. So in 2009, I was diagnosed with ADHD and I had bipolar, but they didn't know. So I took medication for ADHD. Then afterwards, then they realized I had bipolar. Reason as to why I was triggered and I got bipolar. This is because I was in a very toxic relationship at a very young age. Wanaume.
Kivumbi.
Chai. I used to, niko university, I used to stay in JKUAT Karen, now around that area. I used to leave JKUAT. I drive all the way to my home state where my boyfriend used to live. I go cook for him. I wash for him goes. I wash the cup. Nkama mimi bibi ya
Wife
mtu.
duties as a girlfriend.
I'm trying to do what? Verify myself. Dekorerege. Catch me then.
No, maybe when a ring comes, do you have a ring?
Me. No, but even if it comes, kila mtu akona maisha. I ain't doing that shit for nobody.
Shiko. Unajua bwanako anaweza kuwa anaona hapa.
No, kama ananipenda, kila mtu akona duty zake. Unafanya hii, nafanya hii. Unafanya hii, nafanya hii. Si ati kila wakati mimi ndio boss. Si kwani mama yako alikulea kila hata nisiongee vibaya.
Yeah, maudumaya.
In
Mina's voice. Hey, Shiko amesema yeye hatafanya hiyo maneno.
The things I can do, but I'm not your mother.
Shiko, let's go back to the toxic relationship and the bipolar.
Yes. So what happened is he broke up with me after engaging me. He broke up with me and told me over a phone call and told me that we cannot do this. I asked him why ati nimemshtaki kwa babake anavuta bangi.
So that's the reason he broke up with you?
Yes, over a phone call. A nigga had engaged me, guys. Okay, I was young, I was 19, but bro.
Wait, you were engaged at 19? Yeah. You were ready to get married?
Wife material.
Wako nataka kuona life?
So watu kiniambia nipate mtoto ni tricky, man.
Anyway, so would we say this is what brought about the... Did it really trigger? Because sometimes bipolar and these mental conditions come about after, you know, a trigger from a situation.
Yes.
So would we say this situation probably pushed you to a corner that made you question yourself and all that?
Self-doubt myself.
Yeah.
I kept asking myself, I'm not enough. Like I'm doing all what the Bible wants us to. I'm submissive on whatever level. But this nigga still decides to leave. See, he called me. I pick and he told me whatever he told me. I started crying. Then I asked myself, man, I can't live life without him. You know what I did? I wore black head to toe. It was around 10 p.m. I left my phone in the house. I took a long walk. So I live in Kikuyu. I walked all the way, like from Nairobi all the way to Westlands and back. And it's 10 p.m. alone and I'm 19. Did I care? And then Ujingani, I passed his house. He lives here. So upstairs. I passed under Psycho.
So why all black?
Man,
First of all,
it's death. Like,
the relationship
suicidal.
Is dead.
No,
so,
I was suicidal.
All right.
Yeah, so I was suicidal at that point, and I wore black in the way of if I get hit by a car, as in what to address. By the way, me, I already made peace with it. So I went home, and before I went home, I passed by a chemist and bought Augmentin 1 gram, the highest milligram of Augmentin antibiotic. Full dose, and I went home. I bought 2 smokies, I remember. Part of my dinner now, right? The 2 smokies, and I took all the Augmentin, that one.
Augmentin.
Yeah, Augmentin, the antibiotic. So I said, by the way, I'm done. So I was committing suicide.
Wow.
And it did not happen. It failed. A big failure. So what happened is in the morning, now this is a story I was being told of how I was behaving. I did not wake up. So my auntie comes to my room to check if I'm okay. She's waking me up. I'm convulsing. And I lose memory. I convulse again, my memory comes back. I convulse, I lose my memory. So she's in shock, as in all that. My eyes are turning. So I was taken to hospital immediately. And I remember bits of bits when I was in hospital, because I remember I was being put a line. The next minute, I had removed the line because I had lost my memory. So it was so messy. An ambulance had to pick me now from that local hospital I was in and had to rush me to Nairobi Hospital, where I was put in HDU for around 2 weeks, then 2 months in hospital. Because now what happened is with the medication, it damaged my nerves. Yeah. So I had to start, my leg was shaking. I couldn't walk normal. So I had to go for physio, hydrotherapy, be on many medication, trying seeing psychiatrists and counselors so that I can make peace with it. And that was a journey for then. And that's just how bipolar came into my life. But bipolar started back then. In class 7, 8, due to my parents' separation, it put me really down because I'm a daddy's girl and I had to live with my mom. So living with my mom, I was used to both parents being there. So I was in boarding, and when I was in boarding, I used to try cut my sleeves, just trying to commit suicide. I would rub my nose so that I could just bleed and get anemia and just die. Like I just didn't have a meaning for life.
Yeah,
So
because you had lost the meaning for life. And when you were going through all this, Shiku, the bit of you want to commit suicide, did you ever have like second thoughts of, what about tomorrow? Maybe there's something good meant for me. Like, make us understand. We hear people become suicidal, but most people in the society right now don't really understand what it means to get suicidal. And there are times where you will actually hear someone comment, why do you want to kill yourself? Kwani, what is this big deal? Shiku, by the point you were getting suicidal, did it ever cross your mind that you'd be sitting here today? Did it ever occur to you that there's something beyond whatever situation you are going through, and the point where you are suicidal, Shiku? How did your family, take it up?
Let me tell you guys one thing, and you need to understand. Anyone who's going through suicidal does not give two hoots about anyone around them, if they have a child or not. They do not care. When you get there, it's like, it's like having a stomach pain. Then you get diagnosed with cancer. What's the end result of cancer? It's death. So your brain is sick. So your brain is your stomach. End result of cancer or any bad ulcers or anything is death. So when your brain is sick, end result is death. And death means whatever means. So I need you guys to understand that if someone says they're suicidal, you cannot challenge them otherwise. Even if you tell them what, they don't care because it's already figured that point. But before someone gets suicidal, you can trace you can see this person is not well. If someone says they feel depressed or they're low, take it seriously, because you don't know what extreme it's gotten to. Yes, especially with men. Men go through so much and they're not vocal.
That's true.
And not even their girlfriends or wives can change that. What can change is talk to another man. Don't be silent. Don't let it push you to that level, because life has so much to offer. I would not be here today, but I am here by the grace of God. So it's up to you to take the challenge, and don't let yourself get there. Talk to a fellow man. When you feel low, talk to God. If you feel like you don't talk to any man. So many people nowadays are anti-God right now,
That's true.
So whoever you believe in, talk to them. Don't let it get there. And mostly people who have mental disorders like talking to other people who have mental disorders.
Yes,
because
you
they feel
relate.
like they relate.
That's true.
It's the best thing. You relate. So if you see someone online and they've reached out, like myself, so many people come to me and talk to me. Reach out to them. Reach out to me. Let's talk about it. I will not judge you, because I've been there. Maybe not in your situation, but in another case. But we will figure it out together. So don't let yourself push yourself to the extreme.
Okay, sure. So we've gotten to the point of where the bipolar issue came in. What about the rest?
Yes. So 2018, bipolar. And then 2018 May, I got diagnosed with endometriosis. So this is how it started. You see, the pregnant women they start throwing up. They feel like their stomach is uncomfortable. That's how it was. It was in the evening at around 6 p.m. and my dad had come to visit. So he had to rush me to hospital. Being done a scan, I had to go for emergency surgery out of nowhere. Just like that. So what had happened is I had a cyst that had twisted. So a twisted cyst can even cause death. So I was rushed to theater. I was operated. They removed the cyst and I was okay. So I stayed in hospital around 5 days. I was discharged. On to my next appointment. Before the appointment, I was having so much abdominal pain. It wasn't even like the twisted cyst now. So I was wondering, now telling my parents, I felt like I was being nagged. Remember, I also have mental disorder. So I was feeling like now I'm becoming too much. So one way or another, I just told my mom, I'm not okay. See, it was my appointment coming. We went to hospital. And I didn't even have to be done for a scan, a laparoscopy, surgeries for them to know if I had. And what the doctor did, Dr. Tagana, thank you so much for diagnosing me. He literally, it's disgusting. Are you ready?
To educate.
Are you ready?
Tell us.
He literally, that's how he diagnosed the endometriosis with one finger. This finger, he literally turned. The way people who gotten kids wanangaliango centimeters like that, just the same method. And that's when he didn't even need to do anything else. He just told me you have endometriosis and we'll need to admit you so that you can do a laparoscopy and remove what's there. I did not believe. So I told him, is there any way of medication at least? I'm just from theater. And he started me on medication, which I took very religiously. And I was humble. So continuing in last year, which is before last year, I still had the pain. On my periods, I had the pain. On my periods, I have pain. So last year, November, I felt sick again. I got admitted at Nairobi Hospital and I had to go for surgery again. Going in for surgery, they removed, it had affected my intestines, my uterus, and my bladder, behind my bladder. So you can imagine that's a major surgery first. I stayed in theater for 6 hours. So I got out of surgery. I recovered. As if it was not enough, December I got admitted again. What is it? Colitis. I went to theater again. They found the vidondas in the uterus, in the colon. I was given medication, of course. I went to January on my birthday, 6th January, I got admitted again. That's November, December, January. January, got admitted again. Now this time it was my kidneys had clogged because of taking too much medication. And then in my uterus, urethra, it was swollen. So my removing urine, it was kidogo. There I had to go back to theater for them to enlarge my urethra so I can pee normal and I stop attracting the infections. So those are 3 admissions. Right after colitis, now these are now the diagnoses I've gotten. After that, I think 3 weeks later, in February, I got diagnosed with fibromyalgia. Fibromyalgia, I didn't believe that one because it was a lot.
But I can only imagine by this time, the feeling that you and your family had, because it's one condition after the other. Someone who's been very healthy, very okay. And what doctors able to trigger, are these conditions are probably triggered by something, or where were they coming from?
Imagine they just fall sick. There's no trigger to anything. The only trigger anything that could trigger something is endometriosis when your periods are coming, or hormonal imbalance, or bipolar disorder because of your mood stability and all that. So I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. March, I got diagnosed with lumbago sciatica. It was like every month, hadi naambia Mungu guy, Have you given up on me or what's up?
I can only imagine you're even dreading anytime you go to hospital. What will they say now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It even became a normal thing.
Mhm.
I was expecting I'm like,
Anything
thank you
else?
for the diagnosis. It became a normal thing
My
now.
goodness. Shiko, all this time when you're going through all this condition after the other, condition after the other, how was this for your family? Like how did it affect your family, your workplace, everything around you? Because I can imagine 1 minute you're healthy, the next minute it's in and out of hospital. How did that affect?
So for my job, where I used to work, because of my health, the doctor had to give me an out of service. Like I should not work, out of duty. So giving them that, they asked me, so are you resigning or are you on indefinite? Like you're not expecting pay, but you're still working for us. Let's be real. The first of all, being a salesperson, you have targets, you have all that.
Yeah.
And the moment you say you're still working for them, they'll still give you pressure from wherever you
Definitely.
are. And I needed to concentrate on my health. I still come first at the end of the day. If I'm not okay, I can't work religiously. I can't be productive.
True.
So I quit my job. I resigned and I had to stay home. So that means my job is gone. I used to live by myself. I can't afford rent anymore. I could not afford the lifestyle I used to live anymore. And I would not say I have the perfect support system when I say family, but at least I have a support system. I would not say it's zero. My mom has been there, my dad has been there, my sister, my brother, ako tu, men.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been at the easiest ride. I lost so many of my friends. Not so many, I think almost all. I have like 5 friends right now.
Because people feel like you're too much to handle.
Yes.
Because I can imagine, of course, with the hospital, in and out of hospital, there's bills to be paid. There's even at work, people feel like you're no longer productive. And you know how we're living in times of people using each other. So did you ever feel like, okay, so I was important to people because I could do things for myself and I could be perfect at what I do. But here I am now. People have deserted me because I can no longer be as productive and probably I cannot be in certain setups. Did you ever feel like people have neglected you because of your condition? And how did you deal with it?
I felt not wanted, which is a very bad thing. I felt like I was not enough. I felt like so people were here because I had it. Because we would go for sherehe. Because even right now, if I show you my call log, only have like your call, and maybe the contacts have picked while I was here. I don't have other phone calls. So I lost it. It got to a point I didn't even have a coin in my account. Mind you, I have a loan I'm paying because of a project I was doing. So I wasn't even able to do my hair. So one day we woke up, I just said, because I was depressed. I was actually suicidal again. This was around April this year. I was like, I'm not worth living. God, I'm not worth it, to be honest. So I decided to create a post and ask for help from people because I could not afford myself. So I I posted and now that's when I knew people who want the best for me. As much as they're not there, at least hata kama ni 50 bob, they're trying.
You could feel their warmth.
Yeah, and that's when I knew, and yeah, online family is stronger than the people you know. Those people want the best.
That's actually very true.
Yeah. You would find like I found you on online, and I'd have a friend.
Yes.
Who's barely even asking me how I am. You'd see me post something and you ask, are you okay?
Yeah,
than a person who's been there in my life and they don't even care. So my mom was really affected by the fact I posted that because she was saying, I don't think we've gotten there. But in real sense, it's not that she was even coming through for me. Even her, she had her things to do.
Yes.
I'm not saying that she was neglecting me, but she had
You also
business.
felt she had she had her own life to handle.
Yes. And also being that I've lived a life being very independent. By the I'm 25 years old and I've been able to achieve so much. And having to achieve all that and then having to be dependent on your parents again, So I lost
Something
my
else.
house where I used to stay. I had to go back home. Not home really. I had to get a house that's way affordable, which was okay. I don't complain. Then that's life humbled me, guy. Life has really humbled me. And I just don't know how to say it. Like I really lost it. I lost a lot. But through that losing, I found God.
When people drew away,
Yes.
God got closer.
So what happened not even too long ago, a month ago, on the, when did I go? On the 13th, I went to the mountains to pray. And that's when I turned my life to God. I turned like nimeokoka. I turned my life to God. And when I turned my life to God, I was taking 24 tablets of medication per day. I'm not taking even a single tablet of medication today.
Oh my goodness, that is amazing.
Yes, I've not had anything. I wake up, I'm okay. The only thing maybe affecting me is the mood, but I know that will settle with time. But I'm not taking any tablets. I am waking up in the morning. I am okay. I'm pushing through. Tell me about it. If that's
Who
not
is God? Who is
And then someone
God?
comes and tells me, Hakuna Mungu. Bro, you're joking. You're tripping.
So, Shiko, there's someone who's out there, they're living with maybe not even many, but just one chronic illness, and they're really feeling so overwhelmed. Probably they've even lost their job. Their family is no longer there for them, even friends they've lost. So how for you have you been able to remain strong? Because I will say it again, Shiko, honestly, I know there's a viewer who's watching and they're like, are you for real? You still look strong, you look stable. So how have you been able to remain strong amidst what you've been going through? And more so, living with such illnesses and you're still able to do life. How?
So there's something that happened so that for me to turn my life around, my life was going on so good, then I felt sick. Then I lost everything. And as if it wasn't enough, naongezewa tu mashida. As if it wasn't enough, my family is going through shit. As if it wasn't enough, no one is there to support me. Let me tell you something. I was scrolling through my phone and I just stumbled Romans 8:28. Me, I'm not here to preach. I'm telling you the truth. God says he will give you the desires of your heart. And you need to understand, he created you. He's not done with you.
That's true.
Don't give up on yourself. And no one, not even your mother, will take your problems away from you. Not even your father, not even your boyfriend. Fine, they may support you, but they will not take away. It's half solved, but the 50% remaining is not gone. So what I'm trying to say is, believe in yourself. The girl, the guy, the young man that you used to be and used to have a very big picture of whom you'd want to be, for a diamond to shine, it has to go through pressure. For gold to be gold, it has to go through pressure. For rain to rain, there has to be thunder and lightning. And those are bad things. So you have to go through tough times for you to be strong. Myself, I say I'm a walking testimony. I really enjoy sharing my story, to be honest, because I change people's lives. People have different perspectives about what life is. So look at what God has given you up to where you are. The fact that you can talk, there's someone who can't talk. You can hear, there's someone who can't hear. Appreciate the small things and wait and see what he will do for you. You just need to be patient. It might be tough, even for me as you speak. I don't have a job. I am here. My car doesn't have fuel. It's empty. I am here. I have all the reasons not to be here, Shanice.
True. That's true.
But I woke up and said, I will do it. You just have to tell yourself you will do it, regardless. Regardless what does. Ni shetani tu ana put down. Don't let the devil put you down. Do it regardless. So always put it in your mind that you come first. God wants the best for you. Say a simple prayer to him. Go, oh God, be there for me. Or our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Just Pray
Put
and
him
believe.
first. Yeah.
Put him first. I'm not telling you to okoka. It would be good if you did, but just believe in him and see what he'll do for you.
Honestly, I'm already feeling a bit overwhelmed. So, Shiko, let me ask this. You know, when you're going through all these illnesses, these are not exciting things, Shiko.
Yeah.
So it's not that you're living happy days. These are things that are actually draining you beat by beat and taking you down. How did this affect? And you're already living with bipolar, Shiko. So how did this affect your mental health, and how were you able to pull through it, even amidst being suicidal, amidst the bipolar? And I know it must have messed up your mental health at good one.
Completely.
Yeah, because already when you're going through normal issues, it's already overwhelming,
Yes.
Shiko. But here you are, battling illnesses that you don't know what will happen next. You don't know if to, yeah, you don't know if you will sleep home or
Or
what.
I'll even collapse right now.
Yeah,
Anything
so
can happen.
how has this affected your mental health, and have you been able to remain sane and strong at the end of it all?
Shanice, let me not lie to you. I wasn't lying to you guys though. Let me just say something. From the 24 pills I used to take, there's a drug I usually say I used to take, but to me, nasemanga, I'm done with it. So I don't count it as I'm taking it. So there's a drug called tramadol. Those who know drugs, they know what tramadol is. It's an opioid. It makes you high. So because of endometriosis, it used to help me with the pain a lot. But you see, this drug makes you high. I've taken tramadol every day
Like an
for
actual
3
high?
years. Yes, for 3 years. Up to today, as we speak, I've taken it and I'm kidogo high.
Okay.
To be honest.
On a light note.
On a light note, I'm not doing it ati because I want to be high. It's because you can't just withdraw from it. And for you to stop it, okay, it's a journey. And I said I'm not gonna go to rehab. I'm not going to rehab because of this drug. Yeah, it's all in the head. I'm going to withdraw. 2 weeks ago, I used to take 10 pills in a day. Today, I'm taking 5 pills in a day. That's a span of 2 weeks. I gave myself up to end of this month, I'll be done with it. And truth be told, today's 27th.
Yes.
We only have
28th actually.
28th. We only have 2 days to go. And I believe God can do it for me. And trust me, Shanice, I'll text you and tell you God did it for me. Because I
can't wait to hear it.
Yes. And when I say I was addicted, I'm an addict. It is not easy to put me down. I don't have moods. Miss Nanga moods. I'm in a good day. You're telling me you feel like continuing?
No. Because I can only imagine how tough it is to, besides the illnesses, you have to take the meds because of your own self. And then here it is, it's affected your mental health. And now it's pushed you to a point of being a drug addict.
Imagine.
You know, Shiko, that is so much to handle for one person, to be honest. So, Shiko, how exactly, sometimes there's the thought of, I want to be this, so I will push on. I want to be a doctor, so I will go to that school. I want to do this, Shiko. There are days when you feel extremely low. You don't know if what tomorrow will look like, and it's illness after the other, illness after the other. How are you able to face it all, and especially the bit of you're forced to be addicted to a drug, Shiko? How are you able to maintain it to a point, because it can get extreme, yeah? So how are you exactly able to limit yourself, to draw the line as to this is where it is, if it's about your mental health? How are you able to reach a point and you're like, no, close my ears, there's still something, I'm still meant to be something? So how are you able to do that?
One thing, for any successful person in this world, is a very disciplined person. For you to be successful, you have to be very, very disciplined. It means if you drink alcohol, maybe just 1 beer.
Yeah.
It means maybe you go to the gym, you have to wake up by 5 a.m. You're going to work by 6:30, you have to be up.
Yeah.
You're doing Bible study religiously, you have to join if it's every day at a certain time. I learned to be disciplined. I'm not perfect. I'm still struggling, but I'm learning to be disciplined. Because if I want to be the person I want to be, I have to get things done. I have to keep going. I have to have a purpose. And discipline is not easy. It's not comfortable. It's so uncomfortable. But I push through. I keep telling myself this. God has a purpose for me. His will is being done in my life. He's told me I'm not taking medication. What else? So there's something.
Yes.
So I keep pushing because he has something for me. Because I know so many people tell me, "Mini nyota, I'm a star." If you've gone through, if you've gone through my Instagram, last year I was running MCA Kikuyu, and because I felt sick because of the addiction, that drug, I had traveled to Dubai, and then my drugs got stolen. The hotel, yeah. Because you see, it's an opioid, it makes you high. So it's a very, it's something targeted. I could not go to I had a prescription, but you cannot get that drug at it because you have a prescription from a different country. No, you have to see the doctors, they have to give the go ahead for them to give you. And that is not lazima, they have to give you. So I had to fly back in. And you see, that's just how I stopped running for MC. So that means, look at me at 24, I was running MC. Can tell you so much about who I am. I'm very, I'm all-rounded.
You're a star, and I can agree with that, because interesting enough, you know, we mentioned that I actually met Shiku online. And what is funny is, by the time Shiku and I were doing each other, I was attracted to, there's something she's going through. And I was also at a very funny point. And I looked at Shiku, I'm like, this girl, there's just something about her, you know? And true to it, I don't know, how did we even communicate? I can't remember, but that's a story for another day. That's a story for another day. But Shiku, it's such a great motivation, because Shiku, some of us are healthy, clean bill of health, but we are not able to do what you're able to do. I mean, how many people are out here at 24 running for MCA? They're able to do jobs. And at the back of it all, Shiku, you're living at a point where you don't even know how tomorrow will be. So I will go back to the point of, you know, this the relationship you had and that happened. Shiku, with all that you're going through, do you find yourself in a situation where maybe a guy approaches you, want to be with you, and the minute you tell them, you know, there's this, is it normally like a turning off point for them?
They run for they get what they want and run. They ensure they've gotten what they wanted, and they run. And I would say from 2018 to now, I've only been in one relationship. I would say I'm dating this guy. He knows my mom. He knows we're dating. Yani, can you be my girlfriend? Sort of dating. From then, I've just been in situationships where I'm in bubbles, thinking I'm dating this guy. Kumbe, this guy knows I'm carrying all these illnesses. He can't be with me. And when I date to get married. So I give it my best. So it's hard. Hadi nowadays, not nowadays. I've not had that situation in any, but when I gave my life to Christ, I decided to remain pure. I'm celibate. I've been celibate since October last year, because there's one thing I realized: when you do have sex with a man, you get, as a lady, you get confused. You don't know, you get digmatized, as we'd say. So you do not know if this man wants you for who you are or for what you have. If you give a man money, if you treat him, you're the one treating him, atazoea. So it will always be you giving. And the day you stop giving, he will
withdraw.
Yes. So it's the same thing as having, So I decided I'll pull away. I will let God bring me a man who will remain pure with me until I say I do in church. I am not going to practice sex anymore. I'm going to remain pure with what I say, with my heart, with friendships, intentional, being a sweet darling, you know, it never hurts. And being a sweet darling to God and not being fake to people. The way I am to people is the way I am to God. So I decided, you know what? Men, toodles. So I'm gone, but God will bring me the man.
At the
Yes.
right time, he
Yes.
will come, definitely. So, you have gone through all this, or you championed to become a warrior, because there are people who are out here going through all these things, but they are afraid. They're afraid of letting it out. So, Shiku, what pushes you to actually even share your story with people? What pushes you to actually tell people what you're going through and motivate other people, to the point you decided to become a chronic illness warrior?
What pushes me is, I remember when I was doing an interview when I was 22, I told the person, he asked me, so where do you see yourself in 5 years? I told him I don't want to be employed. I want to be a retired person. In
At
5 years, that's
27.
27. Like, how is that even possible? So when I got the report back, they were like, you're the best candidate, but you're too overambitious. And I asked them, I'm too overambitious. That's why you're not giving me the job. They told me yes. And that I've carried up to date. Because being overambitious means you can work, you can be in your name can be in rooms you've not stepped into. When you put somewhere to network, you'll give it your best. You'll make contacts. Myself says, I don't have a diploma, I don't have a certificate, I don't have a degree.
What do you mean?
Yes. I've been employed, I've earned up to 200,000 a month.
With these brains?
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
Yes. Yes. Your net worth is your network.
Yeah, that's true. Very, very, very true.
It doesn't mean you have papers, you may graduate, kakofia, and that's nonsense. To me, okay, it really matters to other people who are doing like very like scientific
Acha
or
tusiseme ni
law.
nonsense.
Sisemi ni
Serikali ya Kenya na
nonsense.
education
Yes.
is
Ni muhimu.
ni muhimu.
You should go to school because you have to have this. You have to be intellect. But what I'm trying to say is, even I'm talking to people who can't even afford going to school.
That's true.
I'm not telling people not to go to school. I'm talking to someone who can't afford to go to school. Do something. Go out there and just talk to people.
Build yourself, yeah.
Your door, any door that you knock, so long as you believe in it, it will open. So no, we're not giving up here. So if you cannot afford to go to school, go out there. Hata enda ongeleshe mtu wa matatu. You'll get to know the owner. The owner will tell you about the business. They may see something in you, help you buy a matatu.
Yeah.
Start your own.
That's true.
Do small businesses as open an Instagram account, resell. In terms of, unaona hii nguo, Imenti house will be around 1,500. When you go to Isli, it will be 750. So what do? You post the same photo, you sell it at 1,400. You don't have it, but you tell someone pay half, you go get it,
You
resell.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to use your brains for God to even bless you. Your hands have to have something.
That's true. That's
so,
true.
Guys, push on, press on. I did not give up on my life. I'm not giving up now. So many times when I wake up, I feel like giving up. It's not easy, but I push through because I know one day I'll stop taking tramadol.
Yes.
One day I don't. Funny thing, I was even telling myself today, I don't even know, really. Maybe I'm feeling moodless because that's how I used to feel kitambo.
Maybe
And
it's
I'm used to
something, it's a
being
mentality.
high. Yeah, and I'm used to being high. So I don't know how I don't remember how it feels to be sober. But I know God will restore. He will restore my mood. He will restore my health. He's already restored my health. It's just my mood remaining. Now be good to go. And not giving up.
There's
I
no
feel
room
bad
for giving
hearing
up.
people are committing suicide. There's so many suicide cases nowadays. I don't talk too much about that because it affected me just the other day with a friend, but I didn't give up.
Sorry about that.
It's
So
okay.
sorry about that. So Shiko, looking at your past, looking at all these illnesses, looking at the challenges you've basically been through, yeah? What exactly are you doing to make the world a better place? Because I feel like where you are, you're at a position where if I stand, myself included, and if you stand and you're talking and you're mentioning, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't have all these things, but here she is, she's strong, she's doing things. I mean, even things that are beyond people who have nothing going on for them, Shiko. So what are you doing to make the world a better place for people who are living with chronic illnesses, and even for someone who is out there, no illness, but they're so low, they feel like there's nothing left of them to do?
One, I do, okay, for high school and students and all those sort of people, I do high school and primary get-togethers. Like I go to schools and I share my story. I don't go there with a mentality I'll get money. No.
Yeah.
I go there to educate them and break the stigma around mental health. Because once you arrest it early, you've dealt with the situation of people committing suicide after they finish school. Because that's when the cases become more.
That's true.
Because life becomes difficult. Mtu anaona I can't do this anymore. They kill themselves. Second, I use my story. So on my social media handles, I really share what I'm going through. Like when I wake up, I'm feeling like shit. I'll take the camera. Hi guys, today I'm feeling like I'll let you go through my life with me for you to understand. There's no one who's perfect. Even these socialites, whatever they are, there's no one who's perfect. They just basically don't share their story as it's supposed to. But others just prefer remaining private because the people in the limelight don't like. It will be used against them with time.
Do you feel like it could be an issue of stigma?
Yeah, it is because you're afraid. Yeah, you're afraid of people will talk. People will use it against you. People will, but you're not looking at the other side. You're helping someone who wants to be a content creator or who wants to be a musician or who wants to do this. Become who they are. You're helping someone who cannot afford become who they are. So I feel like people, just be real. Share your raw story. Let's break the stigma of people will say. No. People will say, but will they move you? Is it written on your forehead?
And at the end of the day, you will have helped somebody else somewhere.
And that's the whole point. If you help someone, God will help you. He'll bless you times two. You help, he blesses you. Try help and see what he'll do for you.
And especially, I think I'd like to go back to the issue of endometriosis because there's so many women out there who are living with this, Shiku. How is it possible? Do you feel like enough awareness has been created around this illness especially? I'm focusing on it because it's an issue that many women out here are battling with, just that they're silent about it. Do you feel like there's been enough awareness created around it and the recovery methods and how to live with it, Is there enough awareness? And if not, what do you feel like should be done? Is it the government? Is it the people in the media? Is it the victims themselves? What do you feel about it?
One, endometriosis is in every one woman in 10. So every one woman in 10 has endometriosis, whether you know or not. And as we speak, there's so much awareness happening. Like we're really trying. I'm part of the group. I'm part of the team. We're really trying to create awareness around endometriosis. And not only endometriosis, but menstrual health, because there's PCOS, there's so many. There's cysts, there are fibroids, there is fistula, there's so many. So what we're doing is, as we speak, like Janet Mugwa, she's doing something very good with Inua Dada. Congratulations to that.
It's an amazing foundation she's doing right there.
And she also has endometriosis.
Oh, yes. That's very
She has
true.
endometriosis.
And
But
she's
she
been
has
very
2
brave
kids.
about it.
Yes. She has 2 kids. So it doesn't mean you'll not have a child. It only means if you arrest it early enough, you'll be able to bear your children. I'm digressing now. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is we're really trying to create awareness. And if you reach out, there are different platforms. If you reach out to Endo Foundation KE, a lady called Elsie Wandera will reach out to you. There's Charles Muteshi, a gynecologist, also the head of endometriosis here in Kenya. He's ready to support even for those who cannot afford. So if you can't afford, you reach out to him. He will literally treat you without money.
That's an amazing human being. May God bless him wherever he is.
Yeah. So if you feel like you're not okay, first of all, and if you feel like you're having heavy cramps, at the cramps you can't leave your bed, there's a problem. Feel like you're heavy bleeding, there's a problem. So really watch out for those. If you feel like you're having flashes, hot, cold, when you're having your periods, there's a problem. If you're sexually active, go see a gynecologist. Please. Doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. Just see a
need to be sure.
gynecologist. Jipende, you're a woman, love yourself, go see a gynecologist. There's so many problems happening in this era that you're in. So you need to be self-aware of yourself. Endometriosis is a worldwide disease. It's happening. It's been there for years. It's just that it's now got a name. And people need to know that it is okay to have it, but it is not okay to keep quiet. So if you feel the 3 signs, please run to a hospital. You can go to government hospitals. They're very affordable. You can reach out to Charles Moteshi. I have told you, Charles Moteshi will help you, whether you can afford it or not. He will assist you.
That's amazing. So Shiku, as we wind up, maybe you could just share with us, having been there for all those years, you've interacted with many people. Maybe just as an insight for there's probably someone who's watching the show and they are dealing with a chronic illness, or they have a relative or a friend, someone around them who is also living with either of the chronic illnesses or knows someone, Shiku. So are there any programs that are available, like support system groups or recovery programs, or maybe if you could highlight, are there any hospitals that are doing anything to help people, any foundations that you could share with us maybe?
Okay. So for support groups, there's so many support groups. Like for fibromyalgia, there's one. No, not even one. There's so many. You just type on Instagram fibromyalgia Kenya. You will get the names. You reach out on their DM, they'll add you to a group. And there people are raw. They tell you as it is. So you feel like you're not alone. You feel like you're not feeling okay. You write it there, someone will tell you what to do. But we do not advise what medication for you to take, because maybe it's a different condition that another person has. So any condition that you have, there's support groups for that. If there are foundations that are supporting, yes, they are. The one that is very recent that's supporting me personally is Aga Khan Foundation. Aga Khan Foundation has been they're doing research proper. These guys are they're thorough. They're doing it, and they're pouring money to support in any way possible. So if you want a program or a foundation to support you, you could run to Aga Khan Foundation. There's also the UN, but you have to have done your research very well for them to support you. Those are the ones I know. I know they're very small foundations, of course. There's Inua Dala, there's one for Miss Kenya last year, and she has one as well. There's so many, but just how you come out clean to them and tell them what you want is just how they're going to support you. And there's also Shiku Njoroge Foundation.
Most
very
importantly.
Small, yes, very small. We're growing, but we'll get there. Reach out to me, we see what we could do together. I may not be in a position to give you money, but I may be in a position to help with contact for you to get help. So reach out.
Which is amazing, and thank you so much for the good job. Thank you and congratulations for the good job that you do, because you could be going through something, but if you keep it to yourself, if you don't share it with the world, honestly, I don't think you'll be doing what you're meant to be doing in this world. So Shiku, as we end the show, maybe you could give us a final word, share with for the viewers, and you could also give us your social media handles, maybe for someone who's there and they'd like to reach out for more information, or would just want to interact with you on a different basis maybe.
Okay. My final word would be Romans 8:28. You don't read the Bible, just read this one for me. And don't give up. Life has a lot to offer. Don't. When you feel like giving up, there's something good. Something good that is happening. There's something good that's about to happen. My social media handles, I wouldn't have a lot to say. If I start talking, they'll cry.
That's true.
Cry. It's just that we have to be also human. We want people to watch this. We want people to be knowledge, to learn and to insight. So my social media handles are Instagram Shiku_Njoroge, Facebook Wendy Njoroge, LinkedIn Wendy Njoroge, and YouTube Shiku Njoroge. Yes.
Amazing. And thank you.
Thank you so much for always reaching out. You don't know what you do to me. You don't know a place you have in my heart, but trust Shan. you mean so much to me. And keep doing what you're doing.
Thank
If
you.
just there's someone I've talked to
Mhm.
and you've hosted them in your channel, and she
Mhm.
said one thing I like about her channel is almost everyone who goes to the channel gives their life to God.
Oh, wow. Wow. So talk
Shan,
about
you
your kids
don't.
impacting people.
Yes, you're impacting.
Thank you so much.
Keep going, keep pushing. If you need help, ask. We shall
Thank
help
you.
to push.
Thank
You have to conquer. We have to get the awards.
The conqueror is
Yes,
here.
conqueror is here.
The champion.
Yes.
Thank you so much,
You're
Shiku. Honestly,
welcome.
if you continue with these compliments, we will end the show in tears. Because honestly, thank you.
You're
It's a great
welcome.
honor even to just reach out and for you to agree and even for the support also. Thank you so much.
Anytime.
And we shall continue. Talk about it is all about being vocal about issues,
Yes.
and we will continue to do it to the very best we
Yes.
can.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. I know you've gotten a thing or two because some of these things we just see them on the social media or we hear about them. But until you see someone, until you've interacted with the victim is when you know what it really means to live with something and to actually look okay. But guess what? There's more to life. There's so much more to life, and you can do it. So if you're there, if you know someone, please continue encouraging them. And right here on Talk About It, I myself, your host, Angel Chenis, will continue to do the very best that I can. So please make sure to tune in again next week, same time, same place, right here on @Angel Chenis. And it's always a pleasure and an honor to have you guys watching. Remember to subscribe, and I'd be honored to have a comment right here. If you have a comment for Shiku Njoroge, drop it on the comment section, and please follow me on my social media handles @TheAngel Chenis on Facebook, on Instagram, and right here on YouTube. Thank you for watching. See you then. Bye.